All right. Positive energy all the time. Good to see you all today. Hope you all doing great as we have another motivating conversation. Of course, we always want you to eat right because eating is the key. And if you're not eating right and not putting the right nutrition into your body, if you're eating things that can cause problems, then you can't be in optimal health. You want to avoid artificial flavors, artificial colors, preservatives. You don't want to eat any foods that's reportedly cancerous. You don't want to roll the dice with your health. So you want to try to do your best to eat what is considered healthy. And one thing we know that's always considered healthy is fruits, vegetables, herbs, spices, nuts, grains, and seeds. Not necessarily seed oils. There has been some complaints about seed oils. I would advise to get your oil by eating the seeds and get whatever natural oil is going to be in the seeds rather than cooking with the seed oils. I prefer olive oil and other oils. And I will do a whole lot on that. Thank you for supporting the channel. It's always a pleasure to bring this information. And today, we are talking about working out. Working out. In some cases, you might have a job that requires you to use quite a few muscles in your body. In that case, you most likely are all right. You're getting plenty of physical activity. But for a lot of us, we don't get enough physical activity. And sometimes we get physical activity, but it's only on one part of the body, which in some cases could wear that part out while the other parts of the body aren't getting much attention. So for most of us, we have to make sure we get in exercise. We live in a world where we sit down a lot. We sleep at night. We wake up. We get dressed. We sit down all the way to work. We get to work. We sit down all day at work. We get off work. We sit down all the way back home. And when we get home, we sit down. Pretty much. and then we lay down. So in this hectic world, we don't get much exercise. I think we spend the most time on our feet cooking in the kitchen, which isn't much, or doing laundry or something like that. If you got to do yard work or something like that, that helps. But sometimes you just really have to concentrate on the muscle and build a muscle, and the muscle needs a little more attention. So the reason I'm talking about this because there's parts of your life, there's ages in your life that I feel are like blank spots. I feel. Although nowadays without that many children, I don't think children get to play that much anymore. I think they have to sit down in school a lot. And I don't think children really play that much. We have a lot of children that are a little chubby, a little bit overweight. And now we have children that are pre-diabetic. So we got to get some workout in. We got to get some exercise in, right? And we have to eat right. That's important. So check this out and then we'll continue.
Peace, health, and longevity. If you want to consume more plant-based foods, if you want to abstain from junk foods, if you want to consume fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, and herbs, and avoid dead flesh, artificial flavors and colorings, sweeteners, anything that is unreal basically, purchase this particular manual, The Easiest Way to Become a Vegan by Pharaoh Ramesses El Aton, who has been a vegan 40 plus years. He will take you step by step on how to abstain from the junk foods, how to abstain from the dead flesh, the chicken, the turkey, the pork, beef, and all sorts of animal products. Purchase this particular manual, The Easiest Way to Become a Vegan, to eat more natural. Remember that the herbs are for the healing of the nations. Let food be your medicine and let medicine be your food. Consume of every fruit-bearing and herb-bearing tree. Unto you it shall be for meat. Purchase this particular manual, The Easiest Way to Become a Vegan by Pharaoh Ramesses El Aton. Peace, health, and longevity.
So yeah, go to www.veganintel.com. Get the easiest way to become a vegan and get on the path to healthy eating. This manual right here, you can take it nice and slow, and it'll make it much easier for you to transition if you're trying to transition. For those of you that are looking for your free copies, they are on the way. So your free copies will be in the mail this evening and on the way. We had 10 copies. So far, we've given away 2, and we have 8 more copies to give away. So I decided to talk about this because there are moments in your life and in my life where if you're not careful, you will get out of shape and have to play catch up. For me, it was a situation where when I was 40, I got in a position where I was working out a lot and got strong. I worked out for like a whole year and got really strong. And I was 40. I didn't pay much attention after that. I didn't work out or anything. I was just living life, raising children, being in a marriage or relationship. And before I knew it, I was 60. And when I was 60, I was out of shape, right? And that 20 years went by very quickly. So now I'm 60 and I'm working out again, trying to get back in shape from not working out from, 41 to 61. I figured I would warn everybody so you wouldn't have to do that. One reason I got out of shape is because I should have worked out through most of my 40s. Okay. So when I was working out in my 40s, it would have been all right for me to take breaks, but I should have consistently worked out every now and then through my entire 40s. I should have had, even if I had little spurts, like, I worked out in my 40s. I was fine. I didn't have to keep doing it my whole 40s. My whole 41. I mean, when I'm 40 years old, 41. But by the time I got like 40, 41 or 42, I should have did a little more exercise. And if I wanted to, I could have stopped. And then when I get like 44, 45, I should have, in other words, I should have constantly, every now and then, exercise to make sure I didn't get back out of shape. And I didn't do that. I didn't do that. And so by the time I look up, I'm just living life. I'm not paying attention to that. By the time I get like 61, I'm out of shape. Right? I got a little bit of a stomach, like, well, that happened in my 50s, but I'm not paying any attention. And so now I'm in my 60s and I'm trying to correct my body from that almost 20 years of not really exercising. I was really busy running a record label, running here, children, here, there. And sometimes exercising never crosses your mind in a busy, hectic world, especially as a businessman. So as a businessman, I'm really not paying attention how much I'm sitting down. All I'm focusing on is business. All I'm focusing on is whatever I'm doing on this computer. Whatever I'm focused on is whatever I'm trying to get recorded in a recording studio. That's it. And so now I'm trying to give you advice on what I wish I would have known. You know what I'm saying? If I would have known what I know now, I wouldn't be getting back in shape. I would be just in shape already. Because a lot of us are not really gym rats or athletes like that. I was athletic as a child. I was athletic in high school. But once I became an adult, I wasn't running around chasing no basketball. I wasn't running around doing that. But I stayed in shape because my living conditions kept me in shape. I moved to LA. I sold incense and body oils. I made a lot of money doing that, walking or standing up for hours downtown LA. I moved to Hawaii. That kept me in shape. I'm in the mountains growing, right? Physical exercise. And you're still young. If you're young, I was plant-based. I've been a vegan since 1978. So I've been a vegan 47 years. So that kept me in shape. And so I was all right. I was all right. I wasn't bad. But by the time I got like in my later 30s, I wasn't strong and stuff like that because I wasn't exercising anymore. I wasn't doing physical labor like in Hawaii in the mountains. So now as you age and you're busy with life and you're not really paying attention to physical exercise, that time could go by like that. But you're young, and so it's not a thing. It's like, hey, man, I'm 38, 39, boom, 40, I work out, I'm strong as an ox, I look great. Now, this time, I'm 67. I've been working out maybe about 4 or 5 years in my 60s, and it's not as easy to get back in shape like when you're 39 or when you're 20. It's not as easy. Also, there was a long period, you think from early 40s to early 60s, that's 20 years with really not working out. And so when I think back, I said, I got some advice I'm going to bring to my subscribers. And what I would advise you to do, even if you can't focus, because I don't believe working out constantly is any good either. I find that athletes tear their bodies up. And so I think you got to walk a fine line between staying in shape and destroying your body. Your body's not made to push your body every day and be in the gym every day. That's not healthy either. Because in that type of situation, if you stop, then you deteriorate quickly. You're programming your body to not be a natural body. You're programming your body that you got to be in the gym for the rest of your life. And when you look at these older men that do all that working out constantly, they can't never stop. A lot of times they look horrible. They start to look almost like reptiles or something where, I don't know, they don't look healthy. A lot of the gym rats always got an elbow pad on, always got a knee brace on. It's always something wrong with them. They almost tear their bodies up. So you don't want to be fanatical with it. You just want to be in shape. You don't want to turn into a gym rat. I don't think that's healthy. And I think it's not normal. I just cannot be going to the gym every day of my life. That's just not gonna happen. You understand? I'm just not gonna do that. Now that I'm working out, I'm finding to be most fit, you got to take time off. You got to not work out for a month, 6 weeks. And when you take off for a month, 6 weeks, you go back, you be stronger than you were when you ended because you're wearing your body out. And so I've been in the gym and I took some time out and I went back. I was stronger than I was before I took that time off. And my cousin said, that's because my cousin, he works all the time. He said, you can't work out like that. He said, because your muscles are going to be tired. You're running every other day. That's not healthy. You need to be able to take a week, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks out because now that's unnatural. Even when you live in the wild, there's nothing when you live in nature going to have you running. You might walk and pick some breadfruit or walk and pick this, but in real life, you're not going to run. You're going to run if something's chasing you. But in real life, we don't run like that. Even lions and stuff, they don't run like that. They only run when they go get something to eat. You know what I'm saying? And so Ross, think about you and Ross, think about nature. In nature, you're gonna be chilling. You're gonna have your little camp and you're gonna get work by, gathering wood or by reaching to pick fruit or by working in your garden. That's how you're gonna get your exercise. But the actual running activity is unnatural. It's only gonna be some occasions you're gonna run. So that's too much on the knees, too much on the hips, and it's unnatural activity. So you always want to take breaks because you just don't get out of shape. It takes a long time to get out of shape. You're not, the only way you're going to get out of shape, it's going to take months. Okay. So if you're in shape, you're not going to, if you don't do anything for a year, you're not going to be out of shape. It's going to take at least a year and a half to 2 years to get out of shape. The body just don't turn back out of shape. And so that's why I got this program where you really could just concentrate on a 10-year period where you work in there, work out in there out of the 10 years and not work the whole 10 years, but just in that 10 years, make sure you get in shape somewhere in that 10 years. So if you turn 40 and you get yourself in shape, like me, when I got myself in shape in them 40s, I was fine. I was fine. All I had to do after that time was just keep it every now and then. Light exercises through the rest of my 40s, light workout through my 50s. And I didn't do those light workouts in my 50s to maintain what I had built in my 40s. And that's why by the time I got to my 60s, I was out of shape. So it's once you get in shape, that's the hard work. And then after that, all you want to do is a light maintenance to maintain, which is not going to be as hard a workout as what it takes to get in shape. So it's going to be hard to get in shape. But once you get in shape, it's going to be easy to maintain that. That's much easier than to get there. It's much harder to build muscle, but once you build that muscle, it's much easier to maintain that muscle than it is to build that muscle. And so I wanted to come and tell people, like, work out and really get in shape in your 20s, 40s, and 60s. And that means in that whole time period, but not every day. But in that time period, in your 20s, you should be making sure you go back and work out. So let's say you're working out hard, you're 20 to 21, you're working out hard, you can take a break. But by the time you get 23, 24, you need to hit it again. And you can take a break 25. And you get like 27, go hit it again. In other words, monitor within that 10-year period that you stay in shape. And if you can stay yourself in excellent shape in your 20s, you will not get out of shape in your 30s. But if you don't go and maintain that again in your 40s, and you go from the 20s in shape and don't do nothing in the 30s and do nothing in the 40s, then you will be out of shape. And so where I made my mistake is I got in shape at the beginning of my 40s, and that's it. I didn't work out no more at 43, 45, 47. Once I got really strong at 40, I should have went. I didn't have to do nothing at 41 or 42. But by 43, I should have did a little push-up program, sit-up program, like that. And that's where I made my mistake at. For that whole 10 years, you got to touch up on that. And if you touch up and able to keep yourself in shape for 10 years, you will not get out of shape that next 10 years. Because the body don't work like that. It just don't go from in shape to out of shape. It takes time. Now, that depends if you're just eating a bunch of trash, which, as a plant-based vegan, I'm not going to do that anyway. But let's say I work out a little bit on my 40s. When I'm 40, and 41, I work out a little bit. Then I don't. Then I work out a little bit at, 44 and 45. Then I don't. Then I work out a little bit. I'm 47, 48, and then I don't. And let's say I get in 50. And let's say I don't work out at all when I'm 50. The fact that I worked out on and off through my 40s, and then I don't work out in my 50s, when I work out at the beginning of my 60s, it's going to be easier to get back in shape because I didn't wait not that long. That 10 years is really nothing if you're in shape. But if I don't do nothing that whole 50s and all the way, and then 60, and then I wait till 63, 64, that's too long. That's too long. My suggestion is in that 40s, workout, have a workout session at least 3 times in that 10-year period where you're going through working out. And a workout session could easily go for 8 months. When you start working out, that could go for a year or two. Because I'm not talking about just, work out for a couple of days. I mean, like a regular workout routine that you set up and you start doing that at 40. And you might do that until you finish, till, while you're 40 and 41. And 42, you can just chill out. You chill out 42, 43, 44. At 45, hit it again because you're going to be deteriorating, but not to the point where it's hard to get it back up. Those slight deteriorations ain't nothing. You get them right back. But when you wait and wait and wait, and you worked out at 41 and 42, and it's 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, that's where the problem is at. That's where the problem is at. That's where I made my mistake at. And so the same way you're totally out of shape and you get in shape, I feel, this is just my theory, once you get in shape, every couple of years, just go back and reaffirm that. And if you go on and off, on and off, on and off for the whole time in your 40s, you can absolutely not really worry about that in your 50s. But you got to jump right back on it when you turn 60. And you'll find that even if you're a little out of shape, the fact you worked out on and off in your 40s, that muscle memory, it'll still be there. And you won't be then got so out of shape that you I got to work hard like I'm working now to get back in shape. If I would have worked out through my 40s, a couple years here and a couple years there, I wouldn't be in this type. I wouldn't have been in as bad a shape I was when I got to 60. The main thing that messed me up when I got to 60 is that I didn't do it more often in my 40s. I could have missed my 50s. It wouldn't have made that much difference if I would have worked on and off through my 40s. But to just work at the beginning of my 40s and just think about that, don't work out none in your 40s and the whole 50s, that's almost 2 decades when you do that. What's the difference in 20 years and 17? 17 is a long time. And this is just my theory for people who don't want to mess their life up, because I don't want to mess my life up being no gym rat. I don't want to work out every day of my life. I don't want that to be a part of my life. I think that gets, it's more to life than me getting up trying to jog every day and try to work out. I think that's a little fanatical. I don't want to live that life. I don't want to live no life like that. I don't want to go to the gym my whole life. Period. I don't want to do that. When I see people that just go to the gym fanatical like that, they look crazy to me. I mean, what are you doing? You trying out for the Olympic squad? Okay. What are you just going to get just out of shape that quick And so it gets a little crazy to think that, oh, as soon as you don't go to the gym, you're back out of shape. Like the body doesn't work like that. Like the body doesn't just go back out of shape next week because you missed a couple days in the gym, or whatever. And so we're going to start with the 20s because I feel like, first off, growing up as a child, you should be getting exercise. But that's a whole nother video. And I know some of them don't. But the children need to be having bikes. The children need to be running and playing. You shouldn't let your son just sit up and eat and sit on the porch. Get him a bike. Get him involved with baseball. Don't let your children just sit around and eat. And so, as adults, I think the first place where young people need to focus on an exercise routine is 20. And that's because I think for a lot of children, a lot of young people, you ain't that bad. You're in pretty good. You know what I'm saying? Unless you're just one of these ones, like I said, it was gluttony in your house and your parents are just horrible parents and they just let you eat. They just an overweight child. I'm not talking about those strange situations. I'm talking about the normal child's not really, when you go up to the high schools and stuff, the normal child's not out of shape. They're just children. So none of my children needed to be exercising like that. They're already walking around a lot. Children are active. If they're eating normal, they're not going to be overweight. But what happens is the freshman 15 when they go to college. And so when they go to college at 18 years old, now they're not children no more. Now they're not functioning. They don't be running. They're not tagging. They're not hitting each other. They're not running. They're more mature. They're walking more. They're not playing. You don't play like that at 18. Little kids play, 5, 6 years old, 7 years old, like that. Teenagers play, run around. And so I think this is where you would start in 20s. I would advise all young adults, when you turn 20, get you a workout plan. Because that working out in your 20s is what's going to make the difference in your 30s. And when you make a difference in your 30s, that's going to make the difference in your 40s. And so seeing that we know that our young people gain weight if they're not involved in sports, and they gain that 15 pounds their freshman year, because now they're off to themselves. They're not eating on mommy and daddy's schedule. They're able to not really eat well at all. They might find themselves eating more quick fast food, more snacks. And so now they might find themselves drinking soda, eating snacks, and studying. So they're just sitting still, eating snacks, drinking, sugary drinks, and studying. And so I would advise younger people, and I would advise the parents to try to advise your children to work out a little bit when they go to college that first year. And when they go to college that first year, they might not listen to you, but when they come home to visit, take them to do something physical. Take them to walking. Take them to the gym. Come on, go to the gym with mama. Come on, go to the gym with dad. You tell your son, come on, go to the gym. Take him to the gym. It's ways to manipulate him. Tell your son, boy, so you playing any basketball? Yeah, I bet you can't beat me. He gonna say, yes, I can. He's 18. All right, let's go to the gym. Let's see. I'm gonna wear you out, boy. You can't play. Well, you don't care if he win or not. You just try to psych him up to get him in there, get some physical exercise because he's 18, 19. You don't want him to start getting overweight because by the time they graduate and they're 22, 23 years old, they could be out of overweight. Your child went one way and come out like bigger, more fat on their body. So I would say to really have a healthy situation, I would encourage you to exercise on and off throughout your 20s. And if you exercise on and off throughout your 20s and get yourself in some physical shape in your 20s, by the time you get 40, it'll be easy to still maintain. And even if you don't do nothing in your 30s, it won't be so hard for you to stay in shape. Because I believe with you working out throughout a whole 10-year period, it makes that second 10 years not so easy for you to get that bad. And I'm taking that from my own personal experience because I do believe that if I would have kept working out on and off in my 40s, by the time I would have got 60, I wouldn't have been that bad. I wouldn't have been that bad because it wasn't my 50s that messed me up. It was the fact of not enough the rest of the 40s. So by the time I get in my 50s, I'm already 8 years behind. That 8 years should have been 58 instead of 50. So that 8 years of getting out of shape should have been from 50 to 58. But when that 8 years of getting out of shape is from 42 to 50, and then you still ain't working out from 50 to 60, that's 18 years. That's too much. You can fix the 8 years, but you can't fix no 16, 17, 18 years, 20 years that easy. So the key is to make sure there's no longer than a 10-year period that you had a steady workout. If you do that, you'll be fine because your body doesn't just deteriorate that quick. But now that also means depending on what you're doing, because it can if you're just a gluttony and you're just eating a bunch of pizzas and drinking a bunch of sodas. I'm not talking about you if you're in that situation. That's a whole nother conversation. That's an eating conversation. I'm talking about for the basic person. Most women now that are out of shape, I bet you they'll tell you that it was the amount of time they didn't work out that got them in that situation. And if they just would have did a little something here and there, it would have been better for them. Because the longer you don't work out, the more it ruins your metabolism and it makes it harder to lose the weight. The closer that the workout schedules are, the quicker your body responds. The longer the period in between, the slower it takes the body to respond. The harder you got to work to get back because you let yourself go too long. Now, this is just my suggestion. This is just a theory based on what I think I should have did. So I believe that if you work out on and off in your 20s, on and off in your 40s, and on and off in your 60s, you will be in good shape. Because I also believe that if you working out on and off in your 40s, you would develop a certain way you eat. And I don't believe that if you work out on and off in your 20s, I do not believe in your 30s, you will just go back to eating the way you was eating before you worked out on and off in your 20s. I believe you will be and develop a better eating habits in that 10 years. And I don't believe that in your 30s, you'll just throw those eating habits away that you've been maintaining on and off for 10 years. I don't believe you would do that. I personally believe that our eating habits get bad because we haven't really focused on them for a long time. So I believe that if I worked out on and off every 10 years, I would maintain a certain mentality those other 10 years to the point where you most likely will still work out every now and then on those 10 years that you off. So I think with me, I think getting out of shape has a lot to do with how long of the period it was before I worked out again. I made a mistake with that. I shouldn't have went that long because I was in excellent shape. And all I had to do was just touch that up every now and then instead of waiting so long. Waiting from 42 to 62, that's too damn long. That was too long. That was too long. 48 to 62 would have been a lot easier. Seriously. It would have been a lot easier for me because my body would have been in shape longer in my 40s. And if my body's in shape longer in my 40s, it's going to take my body longer to get out of shape in my 50s. And then I'm back to my 60s and I'm back on my program. So I think it would have been much easier. I think that long wait makes it harder to get back in shape because I didn't work out through my 40s. I should have worked out on and off through my 40s. Then the 50s wouldn't even matter. I could have got back on my square in the 60s and I would be way more in shape than I am right now. Although I'm in good shape right now, but I had to work harder than I would have had to work. I wouldn't have had to work that hard to get back in shape. It's a big difference in 10 years and 18 years. Huge. And so I think 20 is the place to start because of the weight that you gain in college. And I believe that if most of us, if you really focus on getting back in shape in your 20s, then that'll also mold your mindset so you won't be so bad when you get to the 30s because there's certain habits you develop when you're trying to get in shape and you just don't go throw those back away. It also creates a certain discipline. And one thing about discipline, when you take time to discipline yourself, you just don't get undisciplined. It kind of sticks with you. You might not do it as fanatical as you did it, but you'll stay with the basics. If you get off certain foods because you feel like they make you too chunky, if you do that on and off for 10 years, I don't think you'll go back to them. I think even though you don't want to exercise and stuff like that, I don't think you'll go back and eat the stuff that you felt like and hurt you from your gains and hurt you from getting in shape. I think you're still pretty eat well. You just you're just busy, so you're not working out. Maybe you're building with children and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times we don't be working out stuff because it just be other things in life that really just don't make it possible. Your schedule just be too hectic. It's just too much. You know what I'm saying? Depending on what your job is and stuff like that, that's just too much. Your focus, your mental focus, you just can't focus on all of that. A lot of times, you're not getting the sleep you need when you're in the middle of your grind. Like when I was doing the music business, yeah, I wasn't getting. I don't think I was getting enough rest to really exercise like that. I don't feel like I had no time for that without hurting myself. I probably would hurt myself because you're doing long nights in the studio. You have to go through the music afterwards. Yeah, it takes a lot of work to make money. You don't make money easy. You put a lot of time in, especially if you work for yourself. But even if you work for somebody else and you got a family, and that's a lot of work that people don't really talk about. Mothers and fathers, especially mommy. Mommy got to work a lot. You know, it's not a lot of free time for mommy like that. It really not. I'm here in Chicago, and the only way people are getting in shape is they getting up early in the morning and trying to do it before they go to work because they know once they go to work, it's a wrap. So that's why the gym opens at 5:30. The gym opens at 5:30 because that might be the only spot that some people got. And if you go to the gym and you go to most of these gyms in Chicago and you get there at 7 in the morning, it's packed because everybody's trying to get that workout in and get back home at 7:45 and get dressed and go to work. And if they don't get in there, if they don't get in there at 6, 7 in the morning, it ain't gonna happen once they start their day. Once they start dealing with their children, once they start going to work and all that, they ain't gonna be able to get in there. So it's packed, but it is packed after work too. I ain't gonna lie. It's mostly packed after work. But that's got a lot to do with people aren't getting married like that no more. So it's people aren't married. It's a bunch of single dating type situation going on. So it's not the typical normal family in America too much no more. The normal family is becoming extinct. But that's another video for another channel. And so, going to college and getting that extra weight, I think if you work out during your 20s, you save yourself a big headache in your 40s. That's what I think. Now, starting an exercise routine at 40 is a great idea. And it's never too late to reap the benefits of fitness. Focus on a gradual approach, prioritizing low impact activities like walking, swimming, cycling, and gradually increase intensity and duration as your fitness improves. In other words, build up enough muscle to exercise. Don't build up enough stamina first. Don't let nobody fool you to go in there and go hard. Don't go hard. Go soft. Go light and just go consistent. Build the strength to use the strength. Don't go in there and try to make yourself strong. Take your time and get strong slowly. Okay? Incorporate strength training with light weights and focus on proper form to avoid injury. And so, for example, if I want to do some curls and I got some 20 pounds and I'm going, ugh, right? And I can feel it in my tendons and stuff. And people say, go ahead, push them. No. So then let's say I go down from the 20s, I go to the 15s. I can do them easier, but they're a little heavy. I wouldn't do the 15s. I would get 10s. Now we get to 10s. Okay, cool. And I would do the 10s and get strong with the 10s. And the way I would get strong with the 10s is I'll do them and see when I get tired. Okay, I'm at 15, I'm tired. So now my job is to get up to 20 with the 10s, to get up with 30, to get up with 50 with the 10s. Now, once I could do 50 with the 10s a few times, 10 times, 10 days, now let me go get the 15s. Because now I can go back to the beginning. With the 10s, I could only do maybe at first I only could do 15. Now I'm up to 50. I could do them easily. Now I go up to the 15s and go back to 10 and then stay with the 15s until I could do 50 or I could do 20. Then I go to the 25. So in other words, I'll make the muscle to go heavier instead of forcing myself to go heavier. Why not go light and build up enough muscle to go heavier instead of trying to build muscle with the heavier weights? At that point, this is why you go to the gym and so many of them got bands on their arm and everything. And I'm like, bro, you didn't try to get in shape, but you look like you just got to the hospital. How you in shape when you all wrapped up? When you got knee braces on, and elbow and wrist braces on. And you don't really look that good. You look like you're wearing your body out. Because when I go to the gym, a lot of the men, they really look like they tore their body. They look like they wore their body out. It look like they got muscles on a worn out body. They really don't look healthy to me. They look overworked. Right? So remember to listen to your body, stay hydrated, and consider consulting a healthcare professional or certified trainer for personalized guidance. So now when you're 40, start slowly. Don't try to do too much too soon. Begin with shorter sessions and lower intensity, gradually increasing the duration and intensity as your body adapts. Choose low impact activities. Opt for activities that are gentle on your joints, such as walking, swimming, and cycling. Incorporate strength training. Strength training is crucial for maintaining muscle mass and bone density, especially as you age. Start with lighter weights and focus on proper form. If you got a heavy weight, you ain't going to get good form. Okay? Listen to your body. Pay attention to any pain or discomfort and don't push yourself too hard, especially when you start out. If it don't feel comfortable, don't do it. Okay? Stay hydrated. Drink plenty of water before doing it after workout. Warm up and cool down. Always warm up before exercising to prepare your muscles and cool down after to aid in recovery. Consult professionals. Consider consulting with a healthcare professional, a personal trainer, or a physical therapist for personalized advice and guidance. Choose exercises that you find fun and sustainable, making it more likely that you'll stick with them. Okay? It takes time to build fitness, so be patient with yourself and stay consistent. All right? Now, that's when you're in your 40s. Okay? When you're in your 60s, here's the advice. Starting an exercise program at 60 is a great idea, and it's never too late to improve your health and fitness. Focus on building a routine that includes aerobic activity, strength training, and exercises for balance and flexibility. Begin with gentle activities and gradually increase intensity and duration as your fitness improves. Samples of suitable exercises, aerobics, walking, swimming, cycling, dancing, and water aerobics, strength training, lifting light weights, using resistance bands, body weight exercise like squats and lunges, using machines at the gym. This is what I advise older people to do. Use the machines. Don't put the pressure on your knees. Don't put the pressures on your shoulders. Don't put the pressures on your ankles and your elbows. Use the machines. This way you can dial it down so that it's comfortable to do. Make sure it's light and do more reps until you get strong. Okay? Focus on balance and flexibility, yoga, Pilates, Tai Chi, and stretching. Benefits of exercise at 60: improved physical health, reduced risk of heart disease, stroke, type 2 diabetes, and osteoporosis, increased energy levels and mobility, better ability to perform daily tasks and maintain independence. Improved mood and mental well being. Exercise can help reduce stress, anxiety, and depression. Enhanced balance and coordination. Reduce risk of falling. Stronger muscles and bones help maintain strength and mobility as you age. Key considerations: consult your doctor before starting any new exercise program. It's essential to walk to your doctor, especially to talk to your doctor, especially if you have any health conditions. And walk to your doctor if he's close. That's Start slow. Begin with low impact activities like walking, swimming, or cycling. Don't push yourself too hard too soon. Get in shape to get in shape. Don't go get in shape. Get in the shape to be able to get in shape, right? Make that's no matter what age you are. First, get in enough shape to get in shape. Always remember that. Find activities you enjoy. Choose exercise that you find fun and motivating, and this will make it easier to stick with your routine. Be consistent. Aim for at least 150 minutes of moderate intense aerobic exercise per week. This is for the whole week. Just 150 minutes, along with strength training, exercise at least 2 days a week. Listen to your body, okay? Pay attention to any pain or discomfort and adjust your workouts accordingly. Warm up and cool down. Always start with the warm up and end with the cool down to prevent injuries. Examples of suitable exercise would be walking, swimming, cycling, dancing, water aerobics, strength training, lifting weights, using resistance bands. Okay? Body weight exercises like squats and lunges, using machines and a gym. If you're 60, I don't advise squats. Don't do squats. Do not put no pressure on your knees. Okay? Don't do squats. Go to the gym and use the machine where you can sit down and you can push your legs where the weight is on your legs instead of your body weight. And you're squatting down, putting all this pressure on your knees. Protect your knees. I wouldn't advise if you're 60 years old to do squats. Okay? I wouldn't advise squats if you're 40 years old. Protect your knees. Protect your knees. I would tell you that when you go to the gym, it's two things you got to protect. Well, three things: your knees, your rotator cuff, and your wrist. Protect your wrist, protect your shoulders in there, and protect your knees. Okay? Do something light where you can big up your leg strength without you putting a lot of pressure on your knees. Okay? When I work out, I don't put no pressure on my knees. That's why I started out my workout routine on machines, because I can sit on the machine, I can set it, I can put my feet up there, and I can push my weight, and it's putting no pressure on my knees. And I'm making sure it's a light weight, and I just do it a lot of times, and it's about doing it past when you get tired and you're building up strength. I don't now do no squats on my knees and put that pressure on my knees. I worked up with my son, and my cousin. He's 7 years younger than me, and both his knees, he busted both his knees working out. He's got the scars from where he had to get knee replacement. Knee repair. I don't know what kind of surgery he got, but he blew both his knees out in the gym. Common sense, your body will tell you when you're trying to squat, you're going to feel it in your knees. Your knees going to be like, fool, what is you doing? And so no matter who you are, if you haven't been in the gym, don't do no dead weights. I don't care what nobody say. Use the machines. Let the machines hold that stuff. Why is you holding it? I go on the machine a certain way. I'm pulling it down. The machine got the stuff. The machine got the stuff. Oh, okay. Yeah, let me know. I'll send you one. Just text me. Text me your size. I'll send it to you, bro. Send me your size and what color you want. You know what I mean? I gotta send you one. You know what I'm saying? Listen, I don't be putting no weight on me. And now I'm strong as an ox. Now I'm working with my cousin. I'm doing free weights. All right? I'm doing free weights now. But I've been in the gym 3 years building up. And I don't be trying to pick up nothing heavy and get 20 reps. I'd rather get half the weight and do 50 reps. And do 50 reps, 50 reps, 50 reps, so that the next time I pick the weights up, now they lighter. So like I had 20s, and this was some months ago. I got 20s, right? On everything. This is 20, right? And so 2 20s, I'll put them together. I'll lay back on the mat or on the bed, right? And I was lifting these. And every time I would get to about 15, 16, it would get hard as hell. 2 of them together. Real talk. Y'all listen to me. Don't listen to nobody else. Look. I have both of these weights. I put them together like this. Lay down. And I'll be like, right? Right? Real talk. So every time I would get to 18, 19, I'd be pushing real hard. 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. And it wasn't really straining me. I was just barely strong enough to do it. Right? So, I kept doing that, right? The next thing I know, I'm doing it, and I'm 23, 24, 25. I'm not 23, 24, Next thing I know, I'm doing 25. I'm taking a break. I'm doing 25. So what I did was I kept doing the 20s, and I kept doing them to see how many I could do. So every time I do them until I get to that same amount of tiredness. So let's say I do 25 and I'm this tired. The next day I do 25 and I'm this tired. The next day I do 25 and I'm this tired. But the next day I do 25, I'm only this tired. So I do 5 more, I hit 30, I'm back to the same amount of tired. So judge your amount of tiredness. When you get to your last one you can do, use your memory breaks to feel how you feel. And the way you get strong is keep working out till you get to that same level of tiredness. So now the level of tiredness I used to get to at 25, I get there at 50. So now I'm doing 50 before I feel like I used to feel with 25. So I don't got to put no more weight on there. I'm getting stronger, and I don't go past that same amount of tiredness. I don't go once I reach that. I don't try to go here. I just go there and stop. Go there and stop. 25, stop. 25 and stop. Next thing you know, it was 30. Stop. 30. Next thing you know, it was 35. Next thing you know, it's 40. So one day I'm doing it. I get to 30. I'm like, oh shit. When I got to 30, I wasn't tired like usual. I said, oh, hell no. Bam, bam. Now I'm doing 50. Pretty soon I'll be doing 60. Pretty soon I'll be doing 100. When I get to 100, I'm going to get me some 25s. When I get some 25s, I must be starting all over again, and I'm going to see how far I could go with the 25s before I get right here. And I might do the 25s and get right here and be at 25 or 30 or 40, and I'm going to do the same process. I'm going to do the 25s until I do more and more and more and more. I'm not going to force myself. Once I get to that same amount of tiredness, I stop. The key is to get to that amount of tiredness by doing more and more and more. Not to, okay, 25, okay, push one more. And I ain't doing all that. If I do 25, 25, 25, 25, I'm going to get stronger just doing that. To the point where when I do 35, I feel the same way I feel when I'm 25. When you're 40, 50, 60, you're too old to be, come on, give me 2 more. You're too old for that. Just do the same amount, man. It's going to still, you're going to get stronger. You can do 10 every day and you're going to get stronger. Just 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're going to be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. After so many months, you're going to be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. After so long, you're going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 with no hard breathing. Tell me you didn't get stronger. You're doing it faster. You ain't breathing hard. You're stronger. So then you'd be like, okay, well, I might as well do 20. 1, 2, you're going to do 20 and breathe. Whew. You're going to be 20 and breathe a little bit. Pretty soon you're going to be doing 20 and ain't breathing hard at all. And when you can keep going up till you get up to 50 or 100, then get a bigger weight and then do less again. Duh. Do less again. Don't be straining your damn body, right? And if you just do the same weights without straining, you still gonna get stronger. You still gonna get strong. You ain't gotta be all that. You ain't gotta do all that, man. Do the same amount. If you just do 10 push-ups every day, you're gonna get stronger. Just 10. If you get down to 1, 2, 3, if you do that consistently, them 10 gonna get easier, 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 and you're gonna be getting stronger. That's a fact. And save your body and don't tear your body up. You're trying to get strong, but now you got your shoulder wrapped up. You're trying to get strong, but now you got your elbow wrapped up. You trying to get strong, now you got your ankle wrapped up. You got your knee wrapped up. How the hell you getting stronger with your knee wrapped up? How? How are you getting healthier and you didn't damage your ankle, damage your knee, damage your... I haven't had nothing. I ain't damaged nothing. And I'm 67. I ain't damaging nothing. And I feel great. Now there's food you're going to have to eat. Okay? There's food you're going to have to eat to get in shape. Okay? There's food you're going to have to eat to get in shape. And you're going to have to eat in shape food. Period. Okay? So, if you're growing plants and you ain't hitting them with nitrogen, and you ain't hitting them with phosphorus, and you ain't hitting them with potassium, then them plants going to be weak. So your body the same way. So you looking like this, like, I'm finna go to the gym and build some muscle. Okay, I got to feed these muscles. So you got to feed those muscles. You can't just go in there and build muscle. You got to feed it. So it's like you say, I want the muscle to grow, so I'm going to get a muscle this, so then when I work out, the muscle eat this and grow. So you got to feed the muscle. You got to get a muscle something to eat and something to drink to grow. So you try to get in shape, you have to eat and drink to get in shape, period. So there has to be something you're consuming when you go to the gym and when you get back, period. You got to be taking your vitamins. See, I got this multiple vitamin. If you ain't putting no vitamins in there, how you going to get stronger? How, Sway? You ain't got the answer, Sway. So like this, I got this cassava. This cassava got 240 calories, right? And there's some powerful stuff. 25 grams of protein per serving. It's got a lot of different foods in it, okay? A lot. And it's got all the vitamins and nutrients you need. Now, I'm on some Superman stuff right now, so I don't take a scoop of this. I just take a third of a scoop and put it in my protein shake. So I'll take me some milk, right? Some plant milk. And I put a third of it in here. What if your metabolism is high? Okay, let me see something. Metabolism is the chemical process that occurs when a living organism in order to maintain life. The sum of all chemical reactions that occur within a living organism to maintain life. These reactions revolve breaking down molecules to release energy and building a new molecule. Um, I'm not sure about metabolism. I'm not sure about that because uh, what's your suggestion? Like, what do you mean metabolism? As what if it's high concerning what? Concerning your working out or concerning what exactly? So I'm trying to figure out like, okay, you say what if your metabolism is high concerning what? High when it comes to working out or what? As far as taking the foods, Drew. And so what I do is I'll take a third of this. I'll take a third of this. This has 6 ingredients. This is my plant protein, right? And then I made my own protein powder where I blended up chia seeds and all of that, hemp seeds, chia seeds, flax seeds that I blended up. And instead of going to them, okay, so what do your metabolism do when you work out? That's the problem I understand when you work out because when you work out, when you say your metabolism, see, when you're working out, the main thing you're interested in is your bones. You don't want to hurt your bones. You don't want to hurt your shoulder. You don't want to hurt nothing. So you do not, no matter what kind of metabolism you only got one shoulder. You got the same type of shoulder. So you never want to push your knees, your shoulders, your ankles, and your wrists. Never. Because your metabolism is not going to protect your ankles, your wrists, or none of that. And then your age, you just turned 60. So you got a 60-year-old metabolism. Hey, Drew, no matter what kind of metabolism you got, it ain't the one you had when you was 20. You had the 20-year-old metabolism, and now you got the 60-year-old metabolism. You feel me? And so, hey, you know what it is. Like I'm 67. I don't got the 17-year-old metabolism. Whatever the hell it was, that metabolism gone. And if I crash on that bike now, I don't know. Hey, Drew, if I crash out on the swing bike now, I don't know how that'll work out. I might be all right from being wild all them years, but I ain't finna roll the dice on it, right? So I mix up my own stuff, but you can do whatever's best for you. Sometimes I got hemp seeds, but I also had some hemp powder I bought one day. I went shopping with a friend and they was buying a bunch of stuff and I bought this hemp powder. But my point is I'm drink that before I go in the gym or before I work out like I worked out this morning. I drank my protein drink because what you want to do, you want to put something in there, then you want to pump it up. Right? So today I'm going to be working out at home. I already did some. I'm going to the gym tomorrow. And so because I'm going to be working out at home, I'm going to be putting something in there, make me a big old giant tofu scram with a bunch of stuff in it, potatoes and stuff. And I'm either going to eat that before I work out or right after I work out because you have to feed those muscles. You have to feed them. So typically you're going to have to eat not necessarily more, but more often. You have to think in terms of feeding those muscles. Like I used to grow, I learned that from growing plants. You want some good buds, you want some good plants, you got to feed them. And the ones you don't feed, they be scrawny. The stems be scrawny. The leaves be little. But the ones you hitting with that nitrogen, hitting them with that phosphorus, Them leaves be big. Them stems be fat. And when I seen that back in Hawaii in my 20s, I said, okay, if this worked for these plants, this is the same way raising your children. If you got grandbabies and stuff and you feeding them trash and you giving them that junk and they smiling, yeah, but that baby gonna be weak. You want that baby to be strong, you better get that baby some strength. You better get that baby some strawberries. You better get that baby some blueberries. You better get that baby some fruits and vegetables. Now you can get them baby them juice boxes. That baby gonna be weak. That baby gonna be weak. That baby ain't gonna be no good. Your kids ain't gonna be no good. You ain't gonna be no good either. Okay? Just like you want to have strong sex with a woman, are you eating food gonna make you have strong sex? How much nitric oxide you getting for your circulation? As you gotta put something in for something to come out. If you don't put nothing in there strong, ain't nothing gonna come out. And if you ain't got nothing to come out, ain't nothing gonna get hard. You ain't got nothing. Everything take nutrition. It take nutrition. And so when you go into the gym, ladies or men, feed the muscles. If you are 60 and older, you better eat. Old people stop eating. And that's why they be sickly. That's why they be all frail. They stop eating. When you get older, you're going to have to really be doing a nutrition count. You can't just go out to dinner and eat that shit. What's the nutritional value of this here plate I'm eating? I know I got a plate, but what's the nutritional value? I'm too old for eating a bunch of shit ain't got no nutrition. I need nutrition. So like I've been working hard, so I ain't been going to the gym, but I still been doing my nutrition. But this week I'm going to the gym. I got to turn my nutrition up. When I go to the store to buy food, I'm buying food for a workout. I'm buying food to build muscle. Straight up. I'm buying stuff I don't even eat. Like I got to go get some arugula. I ain't gonna eat arugula, but I'm finna be arugula'd up. Because I found out arugula got all that nitrate in it. So it's up on the arugula. It's up on the beets. I got a beet in there now. I'm finna chop that beet up and eat it. Or blend it up. Because I know if I don't put no nutrition in, I ain't gonna have no nutrition. And then I'm 67. What I'm gonna be like when I'm 70 and I ain't putting no nutrition in. So our older people, we ain't feeding them no nutrition. You feed them a bunch of bacon and toast and garbage. So now when they get 70, they ain't nothing. You say, well, you know, my granddaddy said he's strong. He was already strong. He was already strong. But if he ain't eat right, I bet he getting weaker. I bet he on his way to the hospital. I bet you that. I bet you that. And I learned that from growing plants. If you got some plants, you're trying to grow some watermelons, if you ain't giving them watermelons a whole bunch of nitrogen and stuff, them watermelon not going to be sweet, and them watermelons not going to be big, and them watermelons not going to hardly have no seeds in it. That watermelon going to be weak. You got to pump that watermelon up. And once I learned that in Hawaii growing plants, I never forgot it. I said, I get it. So I know for me to be stronger, I got to pump myself up. I just had a protein shake before I went live. And I be drinking a whole pitcher. I be drinking a jar. I make a protein shake and I make a jar like this. And I drink it. Facts. This how much I drink. If I got a heavy workout day, I drink one of these twice a day. And I eat a big meal because I don't like to eat a lot. One thing about going vegan, you might not eat that much. But because I'm trying to build muscle, I'm forcing myself to eat. I got to eat or I ain't going to build no muscle. I ain't going to be strong. I ain't going to be able to lift these weights. I ain't going to be able to do no push-ups. I ain't going to get no abs. I'm not going to get cut up like I want to get cut up. I'm trying to break the rules, right? When I'm 70, I'm trying to be like, what the hell did he do? I ain't kidding. I'm trying to be ripped. And that take a lot of work and a lot of nutrition. I got to put a lot of nutrition in. I got to put some time in. So now I'm going to do these aerobics, which I hate. I got to do these calisthenics, I don't like calisthenics. I don't like all that sweating and stuff. I ain't got no choice. I either going to get some abs or I'm not. And that's another thing. Sometimes make your life an experiment. I'm doing an experiment. I want some abs at 70. It sounds crazy, but that's what I want to do. And I want to do it without having a hernia or hurting my back. I don't want to get sick doing it. I don't want to hurt myself. I want to do it in a nice, natural way. So August 1st ain't going to be no bread, no potatoes, nothing sweet for 2 months. No bread, no potatoes, nothing sweet for 2 months. And some crazy ab workouts. If somebody got blood pressure, then they need to get their blood pressure under control. Why would they want to work out when they ain't been taking care of themselves? So somebody that got high blood pressure probably going to have a stroke or something anyway. So how they want to be in better shape if they got high blood pressure? Because you're going in the gym to get in good shape.